A hypothetical BRICS versus NATO war over 6 months would be a highly complex scenario involving multiple countries, military strategies, and global politics. Below is a speculative day-by-day breakdown over 6 months, imagining how such a conflict could unfold. This scenario is purely fictional and should not be taken as a prediction or a real-world possibility. Month 1, escalation and initial strikes. Day 1 to 5, tensions. Rise diplomatic relations between BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, reach a breaking point over a disputed region. Cyber warfare. Both sides launch cyber attacks targeting military communication networks and critical infrastructure, like power grids. Day 6 to 15, first strikes. NATO conducts airstrikes on strategic BRICS military installations in Europe and Asia, while BRICS forces respond with missile strikes targeting NATO bases. Naval engagements, NATO and BRICS fleets clash in the South China Sea and the Mediterranean. Day 16 to 30, ground offensives begin. NATO troops launch offensives in Eastern Europe to push back Russian forces, while BRICS advances in Africa and Asia. Air superiority battles. Both alliances engage in large-scale air battles to establish dominance in the skies. Month 2, frontline stalemates day, 31 to 45, heavy casualties. Both sides suffer significant losses as NATO and BRICS forces battle for control in Eastern Europe, the Middle East, and the Indian Ocean. Supply lines attacked. Strategic bombing campaigns focus on disrupting supply lines. BRICS targets NATO's logistical bases in Europe, while NATO forces disrupt BRICS supply routes in Asia. Day 46 to 60, propaganda warfare. Each side ramps up efforts to win global support, using social media and traditional media to sway public opinion. Chemical weapons accusation. Both alliances accuse each other of using chemical weapons, escalating international tensions. Month 3, Global Economic Impact Day, 61 to 75. Energy crisis. Oil supplies are disrupted as tankers and pipelines become targets. Gas prices spike globally, causing economic turmoil. Trade embargoes. NATO and BRICS impose trade embargoes, affecting global markets and leading to shortages of essential goods. Day 76 to 90, urban warfare. Key cities in Eastern Europe, Africa, and Asia become battlegrounds, leading to mass evacuations and civilian casualties. Special forces operations. Covert operations and assassinations intensify as both sides target high-ranking officials. Month 4, proxy conflicts and alliances. Day 91 to 105. New alliances. Non-aligned nations begin choosing sides. Some Southeast Asian and Middle Eastern countries join BRICS, while others in Latin America and Africa align with NATO. Proxy wars. Smaller conflicts erupt in regions like South America and Southeast Asia as allies of both sides engage in localized battles. Day 106 to 120. Peace talks attempted. The United Nations attempts to mediate peace talks, but they fail due to demands for territorial concessions. Mass mobilization. Both sides mobilize reserve forces and shift economies to full war production. Month 5, High-Intensity Warfare Day, 121 to 135. Massive naval battles. NATO and BRICS fleets engage in decisive naval battles in the Indian Ocean and the Pacific. Aircraft carriers and destroyers are lost on both sides. Space warfare. Satellites are targeted by anti-satellite missiles, disrupting communication and surveillance capabilities. Day 136 to 150, nuclear threats. Both sides issue threats of using tactical nuclear weapons. Tensions reach their peak, and global leaders scramble to de-escalate the situation. Urban insurgencies. Guerrilla warfare breaks out in occupied cities as local resistance movements rise against occupying forces. Month 6, stalemate and ceasefire negotiations. Day 151 to 165. Resource scarcity, ammunition and fuel shortages affect both sides as supply lines remain disrupted. Rationing is imposed. Humanitarian crisis, refugee flows increase, and international aid organizations struggle to deliver supplies amidst the conflict. Day 166 to 180. Ceasefire agreement. Exhausted from months of high-intensity conflict and facing internal pressures, both alliances agreed to a temporary ceasefire brokered by neutral nations. Reconstruction talks. Diplomatic negotiations begin to address the terms of a potential peace treaty and post-war reconstruction efforts. This fictional timeline illustrates a possible sequence of events, but the complexity and unpredictability of such a conflict would undoubtedly make the outcome difficult to determine.